Yeah, look, it's on a little tripod.
Hello, viewer. How are you doing?
There's also
Welcome
my
to
grinder
Full
now.
Record Jacket with Phil and Ben. On this particular edition, Ben rediscovers his tripod.
Yes, indeed. There was also my Tinder profile name as well, Phil.
I've got my tripod here, and you've
Oh
got
yeah, yeah.
yours.
I've
Wasn't
got
that
mine.
great?
I feel one with the world. I feel connected. I
I'm
feel
sure the
like I am
viewers really
centered.
interested in our microphones. So, Ben, you convened today's show. You said, "Are you free to record?" I said, "Yeah, let me just make a cup of tea." And
Nice
I'm
cup.
here. So, what would you like to discuss?
Not a great deal, Philster. Do you know what I've been listening to?
Go on. I looked much taller than you, by the way, on the screen.
I've put my laptop on a little stand, and if I
Yeah,
tilt it too far, is that better? That's better. You can just
that's
see
a
the
bit better.
top of
Yeah,
my mic, and I kind of didn't want that in view.
that's all right. Doesn't
But
matter. You've seen these people with these podcasts. They have massive microphones in front of their face, and they're
yeah, they
doing all
do, don't
sorts of
they?
stuff, aren't they?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
don't need anything covering our faces because we are beautiful.
Well,
Yeah,
you can
well,
speak for
ish.
yourself on that one, but
Yeah.
yeah.
This week, Philster, in my world of music, has been it's been a quiet one, to be fair. Because I haven't really, obviously, I have the radio on at work, but the two albums I've listened to this week so far are one of my favourite TV actors of the 2000s, Mr. Jack Bauer himself, Keith Sutherland. So I've had this on. It was better than I was expecting. I like Keith, but it's a very middle of the road country album. It's very good. I quite enjoyed it. It's very easy listening, which I suppose is the whole point of middle of the road. Is it's not going to really upset your ears in any way.
That's the whole point. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, one thing we did discover is National Benjamin Day, wasn't it, the other day?
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I've been listening to that, and then this came yesterday. Can you tell what it is yet?
It's the Pulp album.
It is the Pulp album, and
Have you played it?
I have. It was playing while I was setting up. I've got to say, now, I've always said that This Is Hardcore is my favourite Pulp album. And then when we were doing our greatest, the greatest, but our favourite albums of the 1990s, I re-listened to Different Class. And I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it more now than I did then, which is weird because it is a really good album.
Did you listen in your underwear? Oh no, was that on another album? That was on the one before. Was that on the one before? That was on the album before, I think. Yeah. Sorry, I'm
What,
getting
the one before
confused.
Different Class? Was that His and Hers?
That was that Miss? Yeah, his. And I was
Misshapes.
thinking. No, Miss Shapes is the song on Different Class, isn't it? The opening
Class,
song.
yeah.
His and Hers was the album before that had Underwear and Do You Remember the First Time? I think was on that one. I think.
Yeah.
That was the first Pulp stuff I heard, to be honest.
Yeah, and so I had read, now the opening track, Spike Island, I'm slightly obsessed with. There's something about that track that, do you remember when we had the discussion about Born Slippy, and when that boom, 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 boom kicks in, and another thing we spoke about, viewer, we had a greatest one-hit wonders of the 90s, which you can go back and find somewhere on this feed. But I did say back then that instant that beat comes on from Underworld, it takes me back to that mid-90s period, and it sort of transports me, and I get that sort of aching in my stomach for almost like a bygone era. You know, it's sort of... the song Spike Island, there's a lot of it where Jarvis Cocker's obviously, he's singing about himself, really. You know, I was born to perform. It's a calling. I exist to do this, shouting and pointing. But it's just the way the song comes across, and obviously Spike Island was a big gig up in Widnes in 1990, wasn't it? Stone Roses. It just, there's something about it, because obviously Jarvis is getting on there and he looks like a man in his 60s. Yeah, it seems so yesterday, as in it doesn't feel that far away when he was waving his bottom and all that sort of stuff. So it's weird. It's kind of, it's a great track, but it's also quite a sombering track because it makes you want to be back where you once were, if that makes any sense. And I'm slightly obsessed with it in that regard because it's quite a throwback.
Okay. Now, somebody told me, but two people mentioned this album to me. One person told me that she's not sure that it will be Pulp's best album. This was someone whose favourite Pulp album is This Is Hardcore. Okay.
I do love This Is Hard. I'm just going to move my desk.
But that was based on an initial impression, so may change their mind. And someone else said that there were songs on there, they heard them. This was someone online who said they'd heard it at a listening party, which obviously wasn't really a listening party. It was a have the music on in the background party. But what they'd heard of it...
Like a Tupperware party.
Yeah, some of it, they said this new Pulp album sounded to them a bit like Leonard Cohen.
Mm.
I don't know whether that's what you've had that impression from the rest of the album, but
I think it's a great companion piece to This Is Hardcore.
So I can imagine Jarvis listening to Leonard Cohen, can't you? He's just that type of arty person that you imagine would listen to Leonard Cohen, so maybe it's rubbed off on him, I don't know.
Yeah, I think, it's obviously something of coming of age, because the last Noel Gallagher solo album was a reflective album.
It's because they're all old, Ben. They're all dad rock now, aren't they?
No, what we forget is they're old to the ute. For me and you, they're still young, forever young. Yeah, I mean, I've only heard it once, and obviously I've actually played it twice, but some of that was me going in and out the room. But it is very much, I think, a companion piece to This Is Hardcore. I never listened to, is it We Love Life? Was that the one that won the Greenie cover?
Was that a Pulp album that came after This Is Hardcore?
This Is Hardcore.
Yeah, I don't know when that was.
So, for what? This is their first studio release in 24 years. I've got to say it's a solid album. I think the Financial Times gave it 2 out of 5. But everyone else seems to say it's a bit of a masterpiece. I love, there's a track on it, it's the new single, Got to Have Love. And it reminds me a little bit, those EPs that Noel Gallagher released about 4 years ago. Is it Black Star Dancing and those sort of ones? It reminds me a little bit of them. It's a bit disco rock. So it's got some nice... It is a reflective album because that song's very reflective. And then obviously you've got Grown Ups on there, which is another song about aging. And I think there's a song on there, A Sunset, he co-wrote with Richard Hawley. So yeah, there's a lot going on. It's very introspective. God, I sound like I should be on Radio 4. I've used the word introspective.
Talking about what you sound like, I just had a thing come up on my screen. You vanished from me for about a few seconds. You went black. I don't know whether you disappeared for the viewer or not. I can see you again now, but I had a little message come up to say Ben's recording will continue on a new track. This is because of a change in their device. Now I can still see you, and I can still hear you, although you do sound to me in my ears a teeny bit more distant now. I don't know why.
If I tap my mic...
Is it because we've grown apart, Ben? Is that what it is?
Can you hear that?
No, I can't. I think you've gone onto your headphone microphone somehow.
Right. Let me
Because I can also hear noises from your clothing as you move, which obviously indicates that your little headphone mic is the one that's active. We'll see what happens now, viewer, because Ben's now, his audio has disappeared, as you can probably gather, which is everything's suddenly got much quieter on full record check-in because we can't hear him at all. Now he's vanished completely. I'm sure he'll be coming back in just a second when he reboots his whatever he's going to do, reboot his machine, something like that. We were just talking about this new album from Pulp. I don't know whether you've heard the new Pulp album. I've been very bad, I must confess, at catching up with these latest records from these 90s icons because I'm still yet to listen to the Blur album, The Ballad of Darren. I haven't actually done that yet. It was one of those I thought I must stream that, have a proper listen to it, and then I've never got round to it. So, it says here that Ben has. It says, Ben, apparently you've got it open in another tab where you've got to close any other browser tabs associated with Riverside. This is just our recording thing. I don't take too much notice of this. But close any other tabs you've got because you're open on more than one. We don't want to have two Bens. That would upset the whole balance of the universe.
Is that Bella?
Well, you sound okay to me.
Am I back?
You're definitely back. Yeah, you're
good.
Back.
I don't know what happened
you're
there.
Like Eminem. You keep coming
I
back.
am. Yes, I don't know what happened there. My mic went all yampy. Maybe it's this tripod.
It could be.
Maybe that's what did it. I don't know what you heard of me there when I was talking about the Pulp album, but
we heard pretty much most of it. Then you were talking about. You said something about what I sound like, and I use that as a way to interject and say that you were sounding different. But,
right, okay. You filled the gaps in. That's the main thing, isn't it?
While you were there, I did just reveal to the viewer that I've yet to listen to that Pulp album. I also haven't yet listened to the Blur Ballad of Darren album either.
That's a really good album.
So I keep hearing, which is why I wanted to listen to it properly, and of course that stopped me from putting it on casually in the background.
It is very, very good. Damon Albarn's solo album. I mean, obviously he's got Gorillaz and stuff, but his actual solo album's very good. As is the Guy Garvey solo album, which I really enjoy as well.
You made it sound there as if Damon Albarn just keeps exotic pets. Obviously he's got gorillas and stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah. He does. Didn't you not know
alligators in the swimming pool, and
Yeah, he owns Peyton Zoo. So, but yeah, no, I'm quite looking forward to getting more into this Pulp album, dude. I was just going to have a look on my Spotify to see if there's anything else I was listening to, and then I've just flicked into WhatsApp, and it's come up with your rant from early in the week about people doing a live performance. It annoys you that they call it a track.
It does. Yes, it does annoy me. Do you want me to have this rant all over again?
Yeah, go on. Yeah, I think it's a valid.
Well, this seems to have crept in the last few years, and I hear people saying this who are, they're broadcasters or they're musicians. They're people who should know better, and they talk about an artist performing a song, and they say, they've performed the track.
Yeah.
So and so's got a new album out, and they've performed, or they've it's basically describing a live performance as a track, and to me, a track is something that's on an album.
A physical.
It was originally on an album. It could be on a CD. It could even be on a stream. But it's an actual specific recording of a song, and that's the track. Okay, it's not the composition. Really, it's that particular recording. And so when you perform that song live, you're making a new performance, a different performance. It's the same song, but you've performed that song. You can't perform the track because the track exists on a record. It's a recording. You can't perform the recording. You can just do a new, different performance of the song. So the idea, this thing of people performing tracks or played a track at a concert, they performed the song.
Do you shout
I
at
know this is
crowds as
very
well, Phil?
geeky of me, but I just find it annoying because it's
It is
just not right.
It is the oldest old man statement I have
It
ever
is,
heard
I
in my
know.
time.
I just,
Well, I understand where you're
just
coming from. I know you have given me your argument for this, because I any normal day I probably would have mocked you, but I kind of agree with what you're saying, because the track is what it is on that album. A
It's the
live
performance,
performance
and
is
it's the
never.
performance, and exactly. It's the
Yeah,
performance and the production of what's
yeah.
on that
Unless you're in
record.
Little Mix and you've got a backing tape on, then it's going to be exactly the same as the track. But if you're a live band, proper band, I tell you what. I tell you what. Do you know what? Actually, I've got a little issue as well when it comes to wording. I saw a clip the other day with what's the big guy? The guy used to be. Didn't he do something with Suede? Richard Osman does the murder books.
Yeah, I know.
And
It's his brothers in Suede, isn't it? Something like
that's
that.
it. His brother's in
Yeah.
Suede. Well, I saw he was one of his podcasts, and he was talking about the death of bands, and he had the stats of. I can't remember what the actual thing what it was, but for the. So he said we're halfway through the decade. So the first half of the 80s, so 80 to 85, number ones in the UK, number of weeks taken up by bands was something like 148 weeks, something like that. In the 90s, between 1990 and 95, it was something like 123 bands, because he was saying, now there isn't really bands, there's collaborations, because a lot of grime artists have collaborations, and there's a lot of people like Ed Sheeran, solo artists. Now, in the 2000s, to 2000, 2005, it drops down to about 80 odd. And then 2010, it drops down to something like 48. Guess how many weeks between 2020 and 2025 that bands have been at number one? How many weeks?
I think I might have heard this before. Am I right to say it's actually 0?
No, it's 3 weeks, I think, 2 or 3 weeks.
And
And
was
one of
one of
them
those
was
the Beatles or something? Yeah.
one of them was the Beatles, yeah. One of them was a
Okay.
collaboration, and one of them or something was like Little Mix. And that's the. I mean, I understand the charts; it goes in cycles. But the fact that they're classing Little Mix as a band did not sit well with me.
Yeah, it's a group. So are they saying basically all of these acts are effectively solo artists,
They're
apart from
saying
they're
a
not
lot of
groups in any way?
chart music, because it's obviously like your Ed Sheerans, your what's that one you like? Taylor Swift. Things like Taylor Swift. There's all these sort of solo. There's not.
They're the big superstars, but there's also all these other ones who are not quite on the same
But then you
status
look
as
at
them, but
people
they're
like
still solo people, aren't they?
yeah, because you got people like The Weeknd, people like Eminem, that sort of thing. I'm
Charlie
surprised.
XCX.
Yeah, and I was surprised because I
Dua
thought, I'm
Lipa.
shocked.
Chappell Rowan. You see, I'm very hip with the kids.
You
I
are
know
very
all
hip.
these
I haven't
names.
got a clue who any of these people are. And then you've got,
Yeah.
but then you think you've had because I suppose people like Sam Fender are classed as solo artists, even though he's got a band that he plays with. To me, that's a band. He plays with a band.
Well, yeah, but that's always been considered a solo artist, hasn't it?
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's band music. It's
yeah. So I was a
musicians.
bit, and like you with song and track, it just sort of the fact that Little Mix they were classing as a band. I was like, well, like you, it's
they're
a
grasping
group.
at straws to find a group. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
more of a
yeah, and
group.
I was
I would.
surprised that Coldplay haven't been at number one in the last 5 years with something, because normally,
Too
or
old
the
to be
Arctic
number one now.
Monkeys. Haven't the Arctic Monkeys had a number one in?
They're not down with the kids anymore, Ben. They're middle aged.
20 years old, the debut
middle-aged
album
bands
this year.
now. Yeah, that's the thing. You see, they're middle-aged bands. You see, I might think of the Arctic Monkeys as still being a relatively recent upstart band, but that was 20 years ago or something like that.
Yeah, that's like me going in when What's the Story Morning Glory came out, going, have you heard of this new band? No, when did they come out? Oh, 1975. And there is a band called the 1975, so that sort of, but it just sort of, it's kind of sad, really, that a country that has given us so many, well, not just a country, but a planet that's given us such massive bands.
That's being number one. He's on about being number one.
Yeah.
Now, there are bands around now.
Yeah.
But, and, there are sort of bands that play at festivals from the younger generation, but they're not getting to number one on the charts.
Yeah, like Inhaler, that sort of.
Well, there's this band like this Fontaines DC, and there's Wet Leg, and there's other bands. I can't remember those of them all. But there are young bands doing guitar music. We're talking mainly about bands that do guitar music, aren't we? Or they might be synth bands, but mainly they're playing instruments. But they're not getting to number one on the charts. It's these solo pop stars that are getting to number one. But then again, back in the early 90s, before the whole so-called Britpop thing, there were bands who were not getting to number one. Bands like the Jesus and Mary Chain, the Smiths didn't get to number one. The Smiths weren't number one on the singles charts in the 80s, I don't think. Jesus and Mary Chain, all that stuff.
Echo and the Bunnymen.
Yeah, they weren't getting to number one on the charts, were they?
Stone Roses, Happy Mondays.
They were a bit lower down. And then in the
Simply Red.
I don't think Happy Mondays did Happy Mondays have a number one single? I'm not sure that they did. No, so again, you could say, well, that sort of thing. But some of the acts that did get to number one around that time were groups, but they were more in the pop category generally.
New Kids on the Block.
It was that. Well, it was that kind of thing. So maybe it hasn't changed quite as much, but it does seem to be the case that there's not as much of a culture of youngsters being into following bands and being interested in bands as there was back in the 80s and the 90s. So yeah,
I'm not PlayStations.
Yeah. I mean, you see, there's that band, that Irish band I mentioned, Fontaines DC, who are kind of seem to be quite cool. Well, they seem to be cool, but the people I know who like them are more towards my age, the middle-aged people. So they do sound like a young upstart band. They sound cool. Yeah. They don't sound as if they've been packaged for older people, but the people who like them, or lots of the people who like them, are older. So maybe I don't know whether they really are cool, or whether they're a band that middle-aged people think makes them cool. Liking them, I don't know.
Imagine that you've done all those years of getting your band together, honing your craft, and you think, we are going to hit the big time. We are going to be the new kids on the block. You release your first album, get your first gig, and it's filled with people who should be at a Phil Collins concert. You're like, oh, God. Oh, why?
It's certainly true now at the festivals. You do get, it's got a mix, isn't it? Because there are people our age who go and watch bands. And of course, they do have young fans as well. But
well, I'm going to see an up-and-coming band in a couple of weeks, Philster.
That's right. Yeah, the ones they're playing in Cardiff, and that little gig in Wales.
That little gig in Cardiff. Yeah, I don't think anything will ever come of them, but got to give them a go, haven't you?
Apparently, they're from Manchester, but they've got an American drummer. Is that right?
Yeah.
I heard something about that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? You get an American drummer in.
Yeah, that's it, exactly.
But yeah, it's amazing. Like you say, it just irked me a bit, that whole, not the fact that it wasn't so much the bands at number one. That bit didn't really bother me. It was just
calling Little Mix a band.
Yeah, that irked me a bit.
But aren't they a girl band? They're like a boy band, but they're girls, isn't that? But basically,
yeah. But even the word boy band, they're not a band. They do not. Not one of them is playing. drums. They're like a barbershop quartet, aren't they?
I know, but it's alliterative, isn't it? Boy band. It sounds catchy, whereas boy group doesn't work, does it? It's a bit boring.
What about boys that sing?
Yeah,
Girls that sing. Sounds like a line from Viola Beach, that one. That's a good album. God rest their souls. But that's a really good album you should listen to, Phil. So the Viola Beach one. What they could have come, they're very much like a Widnesy Warrington sort of Arctic Monkeys almost. Very sort of good storytelling lyrics and that. And they've got a song called Boys That Sing. So, yeah. But that's about all I've been listening to this week, Phil. I've just been irked by Richard Osman. I can forgive him. And, yeah, I've not really listened to a great deal of music. Even though there is one track, for some reason, in my stupidity, I set an alarm on my phone, and I don't know why, but I don't know how I've set it, but when it goes off, every time it goes off, it plays Place Your Hands by Reef to the point where it's now annoying. And
could you just change it to? Could you change it to It's Your Letters instead?
I could do, but the thing is, because I pause it once it starts playing, or stop it, or whatever I do, when I get into my car and it kicks into the Bluetooth, it starts playing it again. So my end of year list on Spotify may be quite Reef heavy, I think. Yeah, your favourite artist is Reef. It's like, I don't mind Reef. Haven't got a beef with Reef. A beef with Reef. That's a good title. Maybe that's what they should call their next album. Beef with Reef. Beef with Reef. Beef with Reef. But I don't want it to be I don't want it to sort of, knock somebody out of my top 5 list who should have been in there. Like Phil Collins or Little Mix.
I'm sure they won't knock Oasis off number 1. They'll be fine.
I don't know. I've not really listened. Yeah, they'll probably be number 1. Yeah.
You haven't really played any Oasis records because you want to be fresh when you see the gig, do you? You want it to.
I want to be, yes. I want to be honed, and I want to be on it. And I think did I send it to you? I did, didn't I? Big Shock in the Sun. Oasis may play. What was it? Was it not Supersonic? What song did they catch them playing?
They caught them catching a bit of. They caught Some Might Say.
That's
I think
it.
was being rehearsed, and then you said they were also playing Fade Away.
Yeah. So it was a big shock that they were going to play Some Might Say live. It's like, well, it was their first number 1 single. I think it will be in there. The shock the Sun should have reported is they followed it up in the practice session with Fade Away, which I don't think I've ever heard them play live. Or did they play it at Nebworth? They may have played it at Nebworth, but there you go. Yeah, you should have listened to it to the end, Philster. And the other bit of news that shocked me this week is a clip that you sent me that Suzanne Vega saw Lou Reed 100 times, almost, and only heard him play Walk on the Wild Side once.
Yeah, well, I was watching this YouTube video of Suzanne Vega performing at a festival in Germany. It was about 3 years ago. She did this outdoor festival in Germany, and she does a cover of Walk on the Wild Side, and she's a big fan of him. Not surprising if you ever listen to Suzanne Vega.
Isn't she from New York? Is she?
She is a New Yorker as well, and Lou Reed is one of the big influences on her, and you can sort of tell that, can't you? Because she's got that kind of. She's kind of like a bit like a female Lou Reed in some ways, isn't she?
Yeah.
With her vocal delivery.
I kind of get that.
But yeah, she reckoned that she'd seen him probably 100. Well, that's an exaggeration, I don't know, but maybe she did see him 100 times. But he only once did she see him sing "Walk on the Wild Side."
Because we were having a discussion, weren't we, early in the week with our good friend from the channel Shoegaze 93, Sam Mortley. Yeah. And he brought up, I can't remember what the discussion was about. It was about Lou Reed, wasn't it? And
yeah,
Transformer I forget about that album. But as soon as I hear it, it's instantly one of my top 5 favourite albums. Every
But
song
you
on that
forget
album.
about it.
But I forget about it because there's so many other albums, Phil. There's like a million, billion, trillion, gazillion other albums in the world. But, you know, when you're sort of clearing out your closet, that's an Eminem quote there, and you're rummaging through and you're having a little dig down and you find an old jumper and you're like, I used to wear this jumper all the time. I wonder why I don't wear it anymore. And then you put it on and it's lovely and it's amazing. And you think, I'm going to keep wearing this jumper. So you wear it and you wear it for a couple of weeks. And you think, I'm going to put you in the cupboard and I'll wear you again tomorrow. And then you forget and then repeat the cycle about 5 years later. That's what Lou Reed's Transformers like. You forget about it. You know it's there. And it's not till you retake it back out. You're like, why have I left you for so long? You're yummy. You're like a little scrummy little blanket, a little jumper that I haven't seen for a long time. And I put you on, and now I love you more than anything else in the world. Like that. So, yeah, that's how I feel about Lou Reed's Transformer.
Well, with that, we've done half an hour, just over.
We have. Ooh.
So,
It's
viewer,
bedtime for us.
we thank you for watching. We will be back with more random conversation at some point in the future. Maybe we'll do a quiz as well. Who knows? We'll do something, but we will be back. Thank you again. This has been Full Record Jacket. I've been Phil. Phil?
You've been full? Full of what?
I've been Phil.
I know one thing you're full of.
I'm usually full of something, yeah.
Yeah.